Hello guys, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you something different related to my country, Indonesia. And before that, I'd like to say happy 75th anniversary for Republic Indonesia. Well, even though it's a bit late. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's really late because actually our 75th anniversary, that was in 2020 during COVID time. At the time, Central Bank of Indonesia decided to release a special emission related to this anniversary, independence anniversary, 75th anniversary. So they released the 75,000 special emission related to this anniversary. As you can see, why this is special? Because in our country, in Indonesia, about this kind of banknotes, there are several banknotes such as 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, and the highest amount 100,000. There is no 75,000, but they finally decided to release this one, especially because of 75th anniversary, Independence Day, Indonesian Independence Day. So for further explanation, I'm going to explain to you right away. So check it out. So as you can see, here's the money with this picture at the back and the front, at the back, at the front. But first, look at this one. There are several pictures. Our first president and vice president, Insinyur Soekarno and Muhammad Hatta, and the time when the first time Indonesian flag was raised at the time, and several picture, traditional one. So this is how it looks like. And according to Central Bank of Indonesia, this red and white represent the spirit of Indonesia, because it represents the color of Indonesian flag, red and white. And several culture was represented here, and the motifs like tenun geringsing from Bali. According to official website of Central Bank of Indonesia, there are 3 kinds of traditional clothes here. The motifs of the traditional clothes: batik geringsing from Bali, songket from South Sumatra, and tenun geringsing from Bali, batik kawung from Java, and songket from South Sumatra. Those motifs were represented here as the motifs in this money. So there are so many things here. like the picture of the president and vice presidents of Indonesia, and the first one, of course, the first president and vice president, and more cultural aspects here related to the 75th anniversary of Indonesian Independence Day. So just want to make sure this is how it looks like. Once again, if you want to know how, if you want to achieve this, if you want to acquire this money, how? So the answer is, you may go to Central Bank of Indonesia, or it should be collectively, or several places those are selected by the Central Bank of Indonesia to get this money. But first, you have to pay attention to this 75,000, right? So it means that you need to prepare the same amount of money to exchange into this money. So 75,000, that could be 10,000 plus 5,000, or 20,000 plus 10,000 plus 5,000, or it could be whatever it is. But if you accumulate those amounts of money, that would be 75,000. So you carry those money and go to the Central Bank of Indonesia, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe a certain place that have been selected by Central Bank of Indonesia to exchange this money. So that's how you get it. And if we want to know more about a certain explanation, okay. I just remember one thing about this money. That would be a bit weird or something, I can say, because according to Central Bank of Indonesia, this is their official statement, we can use this money for a transaction. We could do this, we could do this for transaction or whatever it is. But in fact, this money is not really widespread in a certain level. So if you want to do a transaction, like you give the seller 100, for example, for buying something approximately, let's say 25,000, so it should be, the change would be 75, right? But they don't give this, they will not give you this, but they'll give you 50, 20 and 5,000 instead. So you will never actually find this money around while doing transactions. No, you will never find this. You will never get this as a change for your transaction, even though the Central Bank of Indonesia has officially announced that we can use this money for transaction, but it could barely be found around us, even at the bank itself. Like if you want to pull the money from the ATM machine, okay, actually ATM but machine, okay, if you want to pull the money from the ATM, or you want to put it inside of it, the denomination of the money that you will get, or that the machine would accept, that would be 100,000 and 50,000. So yeah, for example, I mean, if you need, let's say you need 300,000 rupiah, so you want to pull it from the machine, out of the machine, so that would be 50,000 over 100,000, right? There will never be this one. Even if you want to put the money inside, the machine will accept 100,000 and 50,000, but they will not accept this if you store it into the machine. No. That's what I know so far. That would be some obstacles if you want to use this money in your real life for transaction or even for saving. But for me personally, if you want to ask me, I'd like to say I'd rather keep this, as I explained before on my previous video. I'd rather keep this money for my collection instead of spending it somewhere, because this money is unique, special edition, special emission, and yeah, for me personally, I'm not gonna spend this money. I'd rather keep it for my collection, even though the Central Bank of Indonesia itself has said that way, but nah, I'm not gonna do that. I'd rather keep this. But this looks good though. Looks awesome if you pay attention to this. But I don't really know exactly about the foreigners, so for the foreigners who stay in Indonesia and you want to do something like I explained before, you want to exchange the money, you want to acquire the money like this, I don't really know exactly how the procedure would be if you're a foreigner, but so far my explanation related to local citizen, or let's say Indonesian citizen. So I don't really know exactly about the foreigners. For further information, perhaps you could ask them through their official website or their official account like Instagram or Facebook. That would be helpful, I think. Well, I think that's all for today related to the special emission related to 75th anniversary of Republic Indonesia, because they released this 75,000 this emission related to this Independence Day. And I know it's too late to say that, but yeah, better late than never, especially about this money, because the world must know about this special money. You must know about this, bro. This is special, guys. This is special, and if you're interested, you need to do it. As I explained before, bring the same amount of money, so bring 75,000 rupiah. Could be to Central Bank of Indonesia or to a certain place that has been selected by them. So that's how you get the money. I think that's all for today, and thank you very much for your attention, and see you when I see you again.